Hi everyone, it's about 20 minutes before 5 o'clock Eastern. It's about 20 minutes before 4 o'clock Central on this Saturday, December 22nd, 2012. I'm Stephen Boyle. Well, winter is finally here, and I know a lot of you are still asking, Stephen, is there going to really be a winter this year? And let me tell you something, there will be a serious winter. It's going to be very intense here. So, first of all, the cold air has finally made its appearance in here, and it's pretty much locked into place. You do notice how there's some freeze warnings, some hard freeze warnings, frost advisories, things like this. When you start seeing that into Florida, you pretty much know there's an Arctic air invasion. Well, basically what's going on here is we got this Arctic air now finally entrenched into the east. All we now need is moisture, and we're ready to go. I mean, the horses will be off and running. Now, today there's because this cold air is coming down into Canada, and we have this cold air running running across the lakes. There's some convection going on, and that convection is producing some lake effect snows. So basically, we do have some advisories, watches, warnings, things like this for that. These are actually reaching as far east as the Berkshires of Massachusetts, where some of those locations have been picking up about 7 inches of snow. So let's I'm going to actually update this radar image because I believe it's a little bit outdated. Notice how we do have, our storm out in California. Let's move our way eastward. And notice we have those lake effect snow bands that are moving right through New York. I mean, look at this band right in here. I mean, that is very, very intense. All of this is going to try to spread south and eastward. But we'll see what happens. For the most part, those bands are practically staying where they are, or pretty much becoming a little bit on the stationary side. I don't know why that did that. Oh, I know why. I didn't click loop image. I clicked back to previous page. Basically, though, you can see here is those bands, and they're trying to reach inland Massachusetts or areas of western Mass, but it's kind of hard for it to do. But we'll see what happens as we work our way through the rest of the evening. But if you don't get any snow, it's upset because, you know, it's not really a storm. Alright, looking at the teleconnections, here's the NAO. We'll start off with the NAO, and you're looking at this and you're saying, Steven, how the heck are we going to get a major storm when the NAO is that positive? Well, remember, this is the mean NAO. This is not the individual NAO, the east or the west base. This is the mean. Here is the AO, and look at the AO. That's practically staying quite negative through the whole period. So, cold air will pretty much be locked into place. Here's the PNA. That's very good news. It's starting to go positive. That's extremely good news for those of us who really want snowstorms. Let's see here. So that's the PNA. So now let's look at some of the graphs here. You can see the regular NAO is going a little bit positive, but notice this west-based. It's staying negative. And that's extremely good for a major snowstorm. The east-based NAO, that going really positive, is not as major of a indication as is the west-based NAO staying negative. The EPO, you can see that's going finally negative, and the PNA, that's staying positive. The AO, I believe that's going to stay quite negative. The GFS is going off the wall with it going positive. I think it's just a model error, but basically everything else looks pretty. Everything looks pretty good for a nice active pattern in the East Coast. So looking at the UCOMET, not all frames of this you're going to see precipitation with, but basically we're going to have a storm that's actually going to start forming down in the Ohio River Valley, and this is actually going to work its way northward, and notice how here's that low pressure system. It's right here. It's basically right over West Virginia now. By let's see here, by early Christmas morning, and then you can see here by Christmas afternoon, by the time we're having Christmas dinner, you can see that there's some snow being spread through the Northeast. I anticipate a lot of regions picking up about 3 to 6 inches of snow with this little low pressure system. Not a major thing, but again, it really will feel like Christmas this year. Unlike last year where it was very warm, or even if it was cold, it was only for a couple days. Here is the NAM, and you can see light snow spreading through most of the Northeast. And then there's our next storm that is starting to form. And again, a lot of these models are showing that, hey, this thing will be at first a Great Lakes cutter, but absolutely not. The reason why is because these models are not handling this Rex block, which we have up in Canada, all that well. I strongly believe this will not be a Great Lakes cutter. I can guarantee it. This will be a coastal storm. All right, this 26-27 situation, and from then on, I see pretty much basically coastal storms. And the the Canadian has been really handling this pattern quite well. And there is the Christmas storm, and basically, you can see here is that low pressure system that is starting to form. A lot of people don't like the Canadian, but the Canadian, I would take that any day over the GFS. Basically, here is that we have some southern stream energy down here. We have a little bit of a short wave coming in from the northern stream. These two are going to basically phase together, and that's going to give us some pretty interesting weather for the East Coast. And basically, I mean, the Canadian has been handling this pattern extremely well. Now, what I also want you to notice with the Canadian, here is the low pressure, and watch what happens. Remember in my final winter outlook, I mentioned how there was a sea surface anomaly off the coast of the Delmarva to between North Carolina and just off the coast of the Delmarva. Well, basically, this is our primary low. I'm not too worried about this thing in here. I just think that's maybe a little bit of convective feedback that's going on in here. I don't think that will happen. But basically, here's our main low, okay? And as this continues to move forward, as we move through time, here is the part of a low, and it looks like it wants to form a secondary in here, but it never does. What's actually going on is this piece of energy that's over the anomaly is transferring into the it's transferring that energy into the core. So now you went from a 998 millibar low to now a 996 millibar low. It's continuing to deepen. Now watch what happens with this once it goes over that anomaly. Watch what happens here. Hold on a minute. We're now at a 990 millibar low as it's right over the Delmarva Peninsula, and again, it's going to continue to strengthen as this happens. Snow is now pretty much spreading from Virginia all the way up to southern New England. Here it goes again. It continues to deepen. A 986 millibar low. It pretty much snow falling from D.C. all the way up to the central coast of Maine. And then there's that 983 millibar. It continues to weaken. And again, this is a nice 40-70 benchmark storm as this happens. So it's a very nice situation. Snow falling very heavily for southern New England, and it's snowing very heavy in northern New Jersey, New York City, even for the most part all of Long Island except for Cape Cod and Fire Island, Long Island. But basically everyone's seeing a very nice snow event here. And I believe this is there it is again. You can see snow continuing to fall, and that storm continues to pull northward. And notice how the low pressure actually continues to strengthen as that is happening, as it continues to move northward. So basically a very nice pattern that is starting to shape out here, and actually notice this piece of energy. That's yet another storm starting to form behind this one. So by the 29th and 30th, we could be talking about more snow in our area, so into the northeast. So get ready. Here is a GFS, and again, the GFS has not been handling this Rex block all that well. And even to be very honest with you, the Canadian hasn't been, the Euro hasn't been handling this Rex block all that well either. Here is that Christmas storm. You can see that goes right over most of the Northeast, giving most of us a nice white Christmas. And again, the GFS says, hey, this thing is going to become an APS or a Great Lakes runner. Absolutely not. I do not see that happening whatsoever. I believe that this will be a coastal storm, a nice 40-70 benchmark storm. I do not think it will be moving up through, up into those regions like that. And again, there is that storm going out to sea, but I strongly believe that with the pattern that we're dealing with, and again, how could the GFS with the this storm right here has it going inland, okay, because of this Rex block, right? It's too weak, but then with the storm behind it, it has it going out to sea because of the blocking. It doesn't make sense. Basically, the GFS is not handling this pattern very, very well. It is just, this pattern change is just too much for the GFS. The Canadian is really handling it very well. According to this, there's going to be a big old ridge, but I highly doubt that. Very, very highly. The chances of a big old ridge shedding up like that is very, 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 very small. Here is the Canadian or the Euro's 0Z snowfall. The 12Z Euro has some feedback errors, but most of us through the whole Northeast at least 18 inches by the 1st of January, if not 30 to 36 inches of snow on the ground. So basically, it's going to be white very soon. I do want to show you before we head on out, or before I start showing you the my graphics that I created here. I do want to show you the JMA, as the JMA has been extremely accurate with the pattern that we have here. Basically, there is that Christmas storm. Okay, it goes over New England. Okay. And remember, this is 24 hours. This is 24-hour precipitation. I just want you to look at the track of the storm. Extremely accurate. Basically, here is that second storm that forms, and it shows it as a coastal storm. The JMA shows it as a coastal storm. I strongly believe that these will be coastal storms. These will not be APS runners. You can bet your hard-earned money on that these will not be APS runners. And this is the 29th and 30th storm, major storm, and yes, there's more energy behind that one. So I can guarantee you all, by the end of the month, there will be plenty of snow on the ground, and it will definitely start looking a lot like winter. So here is that Christmas snow event, and I am going to update this again. It's going to be more widespread. This I created last night very quickly, but I think it's going to be more of a situation like this. All of these areas will be snow, and basically just into some localized regions. Then here's a white Christmas confidence. Again, high potential for all these areas, and I'm going to start spreading it more into these regions, more of a high confidence into these regions as well. So basically, that's what I'm thinking for a white Christmas. And then the major snowstorm, again, this will be updated as well through time. But overall, a lot of areas seeing a major snowstorm. Guys, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Take care.